friends, how's it going? Welcome to another episode of a Project Life Process video. Today I'm working on week 12, but Sunday only. It was clearly a busy day. So I'm going to make a 1.5-page spread, and I'm looking for just the right page protector for a few pictures, but what I ended up doing was just cutting a Becky Higgins A in half, which I do a lot because it's perfect for just a little extra. I did get some new supplies, but I'm not going to focus on talking about those too terribly much because honestly we're all going to have different supplies, and my goal is not to talk too much about what I have, but just making the most of what I have, because we're not always going to have the same stuff, and I don't like talking about my flair. No, I'm just kidding. But I want everyone to feel comfortable using what they have and not feel like they have to keep up with the Joneses with every supply that comes out. But this does happen to be something new that I picked up from 2Ps, and I was really happy to have a little bit different color scheme to work with. So I'm kind of going with a little bit of muted blues and yellows and greens for this layout. And thankfully I have a lot of supplies from a lot of different vendors, and stuff that I just don't use very often. So it makes me really happy when I get to use some of the old stuff. And when I get a chance to use it, it makes me happy. I feel like I'm not wasting supplies. I do love what a card can do and then what it can become. These bases can be used just by themselves, and that's perfectly okay, but I definitely love adding embellishments and extra color to make that just a little bit more me. And it doesn't usually take much. It's usually just finding a few pieces that include some of the colors that I'm working with, and sometimes I mess around and try to put too much on there, and then I just need to be done. So, and this is something I typically do is just a lot of layering, taking a few pieces, changing my music. I don't know why. Hall & Oates seems to be my go-to when I'm scrapping. There is just something about them. But definitely, if you're afraid of making your own cards, honestly, just throw some stuff on there and see if you like it. Oh my gosh, the scissors. Did you guys, when you first got into scrapbooking, if you've been scrapbooking for a long time, did you have every single shape of these designed scissors? My mom and I would share them because we would always scrap together, and she started getting rid of a lot of her stuff. And I was like, you have to keep decal and cloud and scallop. So those are the three that I hung on to. So I, break them out every now and then and use them. When I design cards or a set of cards, I like to keep them kind of together. If I feel like they're together as a set, I'll end up, when I take pictures of them to post them to my blog, I will take pictures of them together because I feel like they go together. So I usually like to keep them together while I'm working on them, so I make sure that they coordinate. And again, write your stuff in pencil first to make sure that it fits before you do it in pen. This is kiwi. And I know I said I wasn't going to talk about supplies specifically, but this is a gorgeous kit and I love it. It's very versatile. I feel like it's got a different style than a lot of the others. And I feel like if you go through it, you feel like you've got a few different kits just in that one kit. It's really, really, really cool. And I just like how simple it is. And seriously, I realized this stamp I've used like 1,000 times from Sweet Stamp Shop, but it's amazing. And the fan is, I'm a fan of the fan. I really love it. And if you'd like to see some other fun project I did with this fan, check out my blog, retrohipmama.wordpress.com, and you can find an embroidery design that I did with this fan that turned out really super cute. It's always fun to do something a little different with scrapbook supplies. And I was just going to stamp that Fantabulous right underneath the fan, but definitely felt like it wasn't right. So thankfully I caught that before I stamped on it, and I just grabbed this little tab sticker, and the Fantabulous happened to fit right in it perfectly. So I like when that works out. And then that's it. I'm just done with it. Sometimes you just have to make decisions and be okay with it. This was kind of a big deal because Marshall's kind of a careful kid and doesn't necessarily enjoy getting dirty or roughing it up too much. So he got a hole in his jeans for the very first time. And it's a big deal. And I've had that top card is like, it says like lovely bias tape or something, and it's just from this really vintage set that I found at a scrapbook store a couple years ago. And I've never used it, and I've loved it, and I finally found a purpose for it. And I had to find that right color blue, you know, that denim color blue, and that underneath paper, it's like a constellation paper. I think it's like from Dear Lizzie, one of her charm packs or something, and it was just that right color blue that matched, so ended up being perfect. And I really wanted to focus on that hole because I felt like the picture, I felt like it was a good picture, but I really wanted to make it stand out. So I had this cute little frame so that I could just make it pop just a little bit more. And if you remember any of my older videos, my little white piece of paper that I taped down over there underneath my cutting mat was pretty marked up. So I ended up replacing it finally with a nice clean piece of paper. So don't worry, it's all marked up by now. And a lot of what I do is just pulling color. I'm just adding colors from the theme that I've kind of already started. And I'm getting a little crazy here, and I'm going to journal, and I'm thinking about it, but I'm going to journal this sideways. It's supposed to be a landscaped card, but I liked it, and I thought it added a little bit of interest if I did it sideways. So when I'm finished, it will go in there sideways, and who cares, right? It's pretty cool. I got this really, really cool picture of Gibson just reading in the sunlight, middle of the day on a Sunday. He probably had his electronics taken away. But I loved that he didn't realize I was taking this picture. And just adding some little things like, you know, the day and a little cute sentiment. So I am sort of making my own card here. I really started from scratch, and I'm kind of just taking anything from these new supplies I got and just working on finding the right colors and finding the right shapes. And I tend to not like to use too many of the same shapes on the same card. Like, I will use a heart and a star and a circle, but probably not 2 stars. So I try to get some rectangle shapes and some circle shapes, you know, to balance it out. And that sticker says better together. And then what I'm writing in the circle is sunshine and linens. Because we have a clothesline. Well, it's actually for a dog, to keep a dog chained up and so they can run back and forth. But I use it to, you know, dry our clothes after we swim, or, hang up shirts to dry or sheets to dry. It just looked really pretty in the sun. I like to get these little 6x6 paper packs because they'll come basically like a 12x12 pack would. So it's got all these teeny tiny little pieces that you can cut out that are just perfect for Project Life, because you can just, there's embellishments, and you don't have to make your own or think too much about what am I going to use here? And do I need to buy an embellishment kit? These things are super cheap and they all coordinate. And you can cut the regular pieces, you know, just the plain pieces of paper into your own little embellishments. And that is it. That is it, guys. It's been a pleasure. See you guys next time.